The Cincinnati Reds are going to start things off here at Great American Ballpark, playing host to the Miami Marlins on a little bit of a throwback night. Each team wearing throwbacks here. And Luis Castillo gets the start here for the Reds, making his 15th of the season. Start things off top half of the first inning. It's going to be Joey Wendle going down on the slider for the first out of the inning. And then the 1-2-3 inning is topped off as Garrett Cooper gets the 97-mile-an-hour cheese blown right by him up and in. And then it's Eliezer Hernandez on the hill for the Marlins, wearing their old 90s throwbacks with the teal caps. And then bottom half of the second, it's Tyler Naquin hitting one into right center field. That's going to get up against the wall. It's going to be an easy two-bagger for Naquin here with one out. After that, it is Aquino at the plate who gets a hold of one up in the zone but does not get enough of it. Dies out at the track. That is going to allow up Naquin to tag to third base. So he's on third. Then it brings up Barrera with his yellow gloves. And he's going to bloop a ball into right field. And that's going to make the Reds go up 1-0 in this game. They strike first. Now onto the top of the third, it's Joey Wendle, sawed off, lands in front of India, whips it across the diamond and gets Wendle by a step. Then with one out and a runner on first, it's De La Cruz going down to second, and he is thrown out by Colesberry, the short king catcher. So then with two outs in the inning, Garrett Cooper would go down swinging once again as Castillo had it working in this game. So bottom half of the third now, Colesberry now at the dish, and he's going to go down the right field line, bloops in. It's a ground rule double for Colesberry, so he's on second base. And then Donovan Solano lays down a bunt, and Colesberry does not move up originally, but he draws the throw, and it's going to be a fielder's choice for Solano, so back-to-back base runners for the Reds. Then Tommy Pham would unfortunately strike out. Mike Moustakas has the same fate, so back-to-back outs for the Reds. And then it's up to Joey Votto, who's going to send one to deep center field. Sanchez going back, and this baby is gone. A 3-run shot for Joey Votto, the Canadian slugger, makes it a 4-0 lead for the Reds as they jump out to a big lead in this one. Now onto the bottom of the fourth inning as Aquino is going to hit one into left field, and that one's out of here too. Daddy Longlegs with a solo shot makes it a 5-0 game. Zach Pop would then enter this game, but then we will see him more later on. So now top half of the sixth inning, it is Garrett Cooper finally getting the Marlins on the board. Struck out in his previous two at-bats, but not that time. It's now a 5-1 ball game. Then Castillo runs into a bit of trouble here as he gives up a single to Sanchez. That's a base knock for him. After that would be Jazz, who comes to the plate, and he's going to have a single of his own. So back-to-back base knocks for the Marlins, and that would end Castillo's day as the veteran lefty Ross Detweiler comes out of the bullpen. And facing Jesus Aguilar is going to give up a single into right field. So 3 straight singles, and the bases are juiced with nobody out. Then it's Avisal Garcia who hits one into left field. That's going to score 1 and 2. It's a 2-run single for Avisal Garcia to make it a 5-3 ball game. But after that, it would be Jacob Stallings grounding into a 6-4-3 double play. 2 down, runner on third. And then it's Miguel Rojas hitting one back to Detweiler, who makes the play himself. And it's now still 5-3, Reds in the lead. Bottom half of the sixth now, Jose Barrera, who call him the king of the bloop, gets another bloop hit in this game, and that's going to be a base knock. So he's on first, and then Colesberry lays down a bunt, moves up Barrera to second base. Check the behind-the-back flip from Jazz there to get the runner at first. So 1 down, runner on second base as Donovan Solano comes up, and he's going down the left field line. It's going to be a double for Solano as he gets into second base sliding and makes it a 6-3 game for the Reds. Justin Dunn comes out of the bullpen then here in the top of the seventh, and he would strike out Joey Wendle, start the inning, and then he would proceed to strand a runner at second base as he strikes out Sanchez to end the inning. So a scoreless seventh, he would stay on for the eighth, get Aguilar to strike out with 1 down now, and a runner on first. Dunn would proceed to work a ground ball from Avisal Garcia. It's an around-the-horn 5-4-3 double play, and there's another scoreless inning from Justin Dunn. Take it into the top of the ninth now. Lucas Sims looking to shut the door here for the Reds, and he's going to be facing Garrett Cooper with 2 on and 2 out. Makes it a bit interesting, but Jose Barrera scoops it, fires, Votto scoop, and that is the end of the game as the Reds do hold on and wins this one over the Marlins by a score of 6-3 here at Great American Ballpark. Player of the game honors go to Joey Votto in this one as he was 2 for 4 on the day with a 3-run blast. Aquino also had himself a home run. Luis Castillo had 5 solid innings, 4 strikeouts, did walk 3 guys, but he does get the win. And then Garrett Cooper 2 for 5 with a home run and a double for the Marlins. And then they also had Jesus Sanchez who was 3 for 4 at the plate as well. And now it is time for the thing that everybody has been waiting for. It is the trade deadline. It is time to blow up this Reds roster. So first thing up, it is Tyler Naquin being traded to the Tampa Bay Rays for Taylor Walls. Taylor Walls was actually on the trade block. The Rays were trying to get rid of him. So I figured, hey, let's be the team that goes out there and takes him off their hands. So we get Taylor Walls because Manuel Margot and Brett Phillips are having awful seasons for them. They need another outfielder. We happen to have Tyler Naquin, so we give them Naquin. We get Taylor Walls, who is an infielder who can play shortstop, second base, and third base at a very high level. B potential, 25 years old. The bat isn't quite there right now. Hopefully it's there as he develops a bit more, but right now the offensive side of him is that he has 98 plate discipline, so he's going to be walking quite a bit, I would hope. And then we've also got a solid 78 speed with Walls, which fits into our plan of what we're trying to do here in Cincinnati. Then the next trade is a dual trade as we sent Tommy Pham and Mike Moustakas to the Cleveland Guardians. They stay in Ohio and go to the American League as we get third baseman Nolan Jones and left-handed pitcher Logan Allen. Pham has been having an incredible season. Cleveland could use some solid power in the lineup as well, and I'm going to be changing Moustakas' primary position to first base because that's essentially what he is at this point. He's not very good in the field at third, so he's mainly basically a first baseman, and that's where they're going to be playing him anyways. They get Moose for this year and next year, and he's still a solid bat to have, so it's not like it's not like they're having to take a contract of a guy who's going to suck. They're taking a contract of a guy who's going to perform for them. While Nolan Jones is Cleveland's number 6 prospect in real life, he was a second-round pick in 2016, former hockey player, a potential, very solid contact power combo. Not known for his defense, he can also play a little bit of corner outfield as well. He was in the bigs earlier this year, but he's currently in Columbus AAA, and he is going to be on our big league roster immediately once he comes to our team. Obviously blocked at third base in Cleveland behind Jose Ramirez. So now he's going to be here with Cincinnati, not blocked by anybody. And then as far as Logan Allen goes, he is a guy who will 100% be getting a prospect profile probably early next season, so we're not going to go too in-depth on him. Just know that if you're wondering why I'm not going over him, it's because there's going to be a prospect profile on him in a few episodes. One thing that you should know, though, is that he is not the Logan Allen that they got from the Padres in the Mike Clevenger trade a couple years ago. That is actually a different left-handed pitcher named Logan Allen. This is a prospect left-handed pitcher named Logan Allen. This is a totally different player. Now moving on, we also traded Donovan Solano, and his trade value isn't really that high at all, so we just did a 1-for-1 swap with Atlanta. They get a solid contact bench for their playoff run. We get Delino DeShields. Fast, steals a lot of bags, 80 grade bunter, 29 years old, obviously not a long-term guy for us, but absolutely somebody who we can use and be useful for us in the short term. Having a great season in AAA so far, he's going to be immediately on our big league club as well and see what he can do for us here in the rest of the season. We also traded Mike Minor, as I said we were going to. We sent him to the Chicago White Sox, and we get Jonas Cespedes' younger brother and mid-20s right-handed pitcher Cade McClure. Minor is still a solid left-handed pitcher to have, doesn't have huge trade value obviously, and the White Sox rotation completely falls off a cliff after 4 guys. They have 4 solid guys, and then they have just a group of like Vince Velasquez, Dallas Keuchel, who's awful now, and Johnny Cueto, who's also awful, so they could very much use Mike Minor to be a solid guy at the back end of their rotation. And then we get Cespedes, who is a C potential 24-year-old outfielder. Good defender, 64 speed, some contact to him. And then Cade McClure is just a C potential 26-year-old starter. Could be something someday, could not be. Just to have in the organization, see what we can get from him. Then we also packaged both relievers into one deal, Justin Wilson and Hunter Strickland, both being sent in division to the St. Louis Cardinals. Relievers have almost zero trade value in this game. I would assume that if you have like a reliever who's I assume Lucas Sims has good trade value because he's a closer and a B potential and a higher overall. But if you're just trying to like dump relievers who are having good seasons and are veterans like these guys are, who are like high 60 overall C potentials, you're not going to get much trade value out of them. Like if you try to trade just one of them, really the only thing you're going to be able to get is like a 29-year-old D potential guy. So instead, we found a team that could use both of them in the St. Louis Cardinals because they're both having solid years, and St. Louis needs they have a big need in the bullpen. They've basically got like Gallegos and then a couple other guys and then just a nothing. And for giving them these two veteran relievers, we are just going to be taking a shot on a 19-year-old C potential prospect named Alec Willis, a pitcher. Obviously a long way from the big leagues, but maybe he could be something multiple seasons down the line. And then we actually did a surprise trade just to get a guy out of our system. He's not in the big leagues, Brandon Drury. He was in the big leagues, currently in AAA. I just wanted to get him out of the system. Don't have to worry about him blocking anybody, and so I can give playing time to other players, and just, dumping him to a team that could possibly use him. So Kansas City gets Brandon Drury, and we get right-handed flamethrower reliever Dylan Coleman, can regularly pump it up to 100, 101 miles an hour with his fastball. And then we also get a deep potential 25-year-old infielder in Clay Dungan. Got some serious speed, just a depth guy to have in AAA. And now let's take a look around the league and see what the other teams in Major League Baseball did at the deadline. So first one up is Arizona, and the Chicago White Sox swapped Josh Rojas and Gavin Sheets, while San Francisco actually traded for Jairo Munoz from Philadelphia in return for Patrick Bailey, who is a Mariners OOTP legend. St. Louis got their Yachty replacement as they sent prospects Jordan Walker, Zach Thompson, and Andre Palante to Oakland in return for Sean Murphy. So that's a big one. Houston and Chicago, the Cubs, they swap Yan Gomes and Ledmys Diaz. And then Houston also sends Ryan Stanek to Miami in return for infielder Cody Morissette. And then Miami also traded Max Meyer to Detroit for Akil Baddoo. While Boston was making some moves, they traded Marcelo Meyer to Texas for first baseman Nathaniel Lowe, and they also got Charlie Blackmon from Colorado for outfield prospect Gilberto Jimenez. The Yankees also did some stacking up as they strengthened their bullpen by getting Lou Trevino from Oakland. And of course, they got Louis Trevino. He's in New York now. New York! You can't make it here, you can't make it anywhere. Okay, I'm done. And then they also got Ryan McKenna from Baltimore for some more outfield depth, I guess. And then the last trade to go over is that Toronto actually got Matt Manning from Detroit for Orelvis Martinez. So now let's see what the big league club looks like here in Cincinnati. On the pitching side of things, you've got Justin Dunn, who now moves from the bullpen back into the rotation as he takes Mike Minor's spot. And then in the bullpen, we've got a couple new guys in Dylan Coleman, who we just traded for from Kansas City. We got Evan Phillips in the bullpen now. We picked him up on waivers earlier in the season. And then we also got Philip Deal as another lefty who's been in the organization, but he's just up to take Wilson's place as the second lefty in the bullpen. And as far as the hitting side of things goes, Taylor Walls is going to be playing shortstop for us as Jose Barrera moves to third base with his strong arm, while India moves back to second base. And then Nolan Jones is playing every day as the DH. Max Schrock is actually playing left field, and Delino DeShields is playing at center field. We also called up infielder Alejo Lopez from AAA. He's going to be on the bench as just a quality defensive speed contact guy we can have on the bench for us. So the post-trade deadline Reds travel out to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers here at American Family Field. We're not evil billionaires. We care about American families. Anyways, Brandon Woodruff on the hill for the Brewers in this, one of their aces on their staff, and then opposing him will be Tyler Mahle, the right-hander, making his 23rd start of the season. Also going to be taking a look at the new look lineup here from the Reds, 1-2-9, before we jump into the top of the third inning here with 2 outs. Aramis Garcia hitting a ground ball up the middle, and that's going to keep the inning alive, but not for long, as the next batter up is Taylor Walls, and he's going to pop one up to center field, and that'll end that inning quickly. So still scoreless at the end of the top of the third, now onto the bottom half of the frame, as Colton Wong is going to bloop one into left field in front of Max Schrock, base knock. Here to lead off the inning, next batter up is Tyrone Taylor, and he's going to hit a ball up the middle that gets through the infield into center. DeShields gets it in quickly. Back-to-back singles for the Brew Crew. Brings up Christian Yelich, who grounds into a 4-6-3 double play. So 2 down now, runner on third base, and it is Luis Urias, who grounds out to first base, and that's going to be the end of 3. So now onto the bottom of the fourth, it's going to be Hunter Renfroe going down looking. And then the inning would come to an end as Mahle strands one at first as he blows a fastball by Michael Brosseau. Now we're on to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mahle still on the hill here with 2 outs, close to getting out of it, but instead it's going to be Tyrone Taylor slicing one down the right field line. That's going to be an easy double for his fleet feet. So he's on second base with 2 outs, brings up Christian Yelich, who gets a hanging pitch, and he's not going to miss it. A blast to right center field, and the Brew Crew lead this game 2-0 here over the Reds. Then later on in the inning, it would be Urias, who hits a fly ball into left field, and Max Schrock with a circus catch somehow bats it out of the air and then catches it before it hits the ground. Now onto the bottom of the 6th, where Hunter Renfroe's going opposite way, and that's another home run for Milwaukee. Makes it a 3-0 lead here for the Brewers, as Mahle starting to look a little bit not so great here. Later on in the inning, it's going to be Willy Adames, who hits a ball into right center field up against the wall. It's an easy 2-bagger for him, so still nobody out. And Dylan Coleman is going to enter for Tyler Mahle as he comes out of the game. The flamethrowing right-hander recently acquired from Kansas City. And in the bottom half of the 6th still, Michael Brosseau comes up, and he's going to hit a ball into left center field. That's going to land in for a hit and score a run, so it's now 4-0 Milwaukee, and then it would be a walk to Andrew McCutchen, the NFT lover, and then it was first and second with 1 out. They would work a 4-6-3 double play as Coleman gets out of it, only allowing 1 more run. We move things on to the top half of the 7th now, where the Reds are finally going to get on the board here as Joey Votto connects with a pitch and sends it into the right field seats. A 4-1 score is it now. And so we move things on to the top of the 9th as Josh Hader will enter this game looking to shut the door in the Reds' faces. Pinch hitting for the Reds is going to be Albert Almora Jr. here to face the left-hander. Almora, with his new batting stance where his lead foot is tucked in like Denard Span, comes up and hits a single into left field to lead off the inning. So he gets on base. After that, it's Taylor Walls who pops one up to the infield. Rowdy Tellez is there to put it away for out number 1. After that, it's Jonathan India, who hits a ground ball over to third base. He's going to get the lead runner here, but India does beat it out of the back half to reach on the fielder's choice. And now on second base, after moving up on a wild pitch, it would be Nolan Jones, who smacks one in the left field and drives on a run to make it a 2-run ball game. So the tying run is at the plate in Joey Votto, but he does not do anything as he just pops it up to first base. And that would be the end of your game as the Brewers win this one over the Reds expectedly by a score of 4-2 here in Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff gets your player of the game honors. He went 8 innings very strong, only gave up 2 hits, struck out 6 Reds batters, and only gave up 1 run on that Votto home run. Yelich and Renfroe both homered for the Brewers. Obviously, Votto homered for us. And then there was also Nolan Jones, who had an RBI single in the 9th off of Josh Hader. The Reds, now back home at Great American Ballpark, are going to be playing host to an NL East foe in the Philadelphia Phillies. And towing the slab for the Reds is going to be the right-hander in Hunter Greene, making his 24th start of the campaign. And he will be opposed by the Phillies right-hander in Aaron Nola, making his 25th start for the Phils. Take a look at the Reds lineup, 1-2-9 on the day, as we will start things off bottom half of the first inning. Delino DeShields leading things off, and he's going to get things started off the right way. Hits one into left center field, and that's going to bounce up over the wall. It's a ground rule double for DeShields, so he's on second base now with 2 outs, as then Joey Votto proceeds to hit a deep fly ball to left field, but it's going to die out right at the wall, so nothing comes from the DeShields leadoff double. Now we're on to the top half of the second, where it's going to be Odubel Herrera, who hits a ground ball up the middle with 2 outs to keep the inning alive, and then after that it would be former Royals franchise legend Jorge Bonifacio, who's going to hit a ball easy double, and then the relay throw to the plate is gonna get Herrera. For whatever reason, they sent him, so we're still scoreless. Now top third, Gene Segura hits a ball into right field. It's going to be a base knock for him. 2 outs in the inning. Kyle Schwarber draws a walk, so first and second here for Philadelphia brings up Didi Gregorius, who's going to hit a ball into left center field. That's going to get down into the gap, and that's going to score at least 1, actually 2, and it's going to make it a 2-0 Reds lead. So now runner on second base, 2 outs, ball hit over the leaping glove of Indy at second base by JT Realmuto, and that's going to be a double from him. 3-0 Phillies is the score, but then luckily Rhys Hoskins would just ground out to end the inning. So a 3-0 ball game now. We move things up top 4. Odubel Herrera, chopper up the middle. Taylor Wall is showing off some of that defense at shortstop. Look at the play. Gets Herrera at first base. After that, it would be Bonifacio popping one up to center field. And that's going to be out number 2 as DeShields puts it away. And then it would be Alec Bohm coming up as he's going to hit a ground ball to first base. And it's now a 1-2-3 inning for Hunter Greene. Top of the 5th now. That inning would end as Greene strikes out Kyle Schwarber, as Greene really settled in after allowing those 3 runs in that 1 inning. Top of the 6th works another scoreless one as Hoskins flies out to right field. Now onto the bottom of the 6th, Reds trying to get something going here. DeShields draws a leadoff walk, so he's on first base, and then India smashes one right back up the middle. DeShields holds up at second. So it's now runner on first and second here for the Reds, as then Nolan Jones lays down a pretty bunt down the third baseline. Does not beat it out, but does move both runners up here for Joey Votto, who hits a ground ball at the second base. He's going to get out at first base, but a run does come in, so the Reds are on the board 3-1. And then Aquino delivers a 2-run blast, ties the game with 1 swing of the bat. Daddy Longlegs makes it a 3-3 ball game here in Cincinnati, as we will now move things on to top of the 7th, where Philip Deal, the left-hander, came on here for the Reds with his tight pants, and with 1 out, gets a chopper swinging bunt from Bonifacio. Cannot make the play, as that's going to be an infield single. So Bonifacio on first, Alec Bohm then also swinging bunt, and check out the arm on Barrero here. Oh my goodness! Gets Bohm by a step at first base, and then a line drive right into the mitt of India at second base. Ends the inning, as then James MacArthur, one of the most Irish names I've ever heard in my life, comes on to pitch for the Phillies, and he's going to give a home run up to Taylor Walls, the recently acquired shortstop. The biggest home run of his very short Reds career so far, puts the Reds on top. It's 4-3 in this game. As then later on in the inning, Colesbury would get hit by pitch. He's going to take his base, so he's on first. As then DeShields tries to lay down a drag bunt, but instead it works as a sacrifice, as he's going to be out at first. So Colesbury at second, and then India puts it a charge into a hanging 12-6 curve, and that's into the seats as well, as James MacArthur absolutely getting shelled here, gives up 2 home runs. It's now a 6-3 Reds lead, and they would take that score into the top of the 9th, where Albert Almora came on as a defensive replacement, and Lucas Sims came on to shut the door. And he would do just that. Gets Realmuto to go down on the slider for out number 1. Then it's Hoskins going down on the slurve. Can he get the 1-2-3 inning? He does. Blows the fastball by Herrera. A 1-2-3 inning. Strikes out the side as Lucas Sims slams the door. And the Reds hold on to win 6-3 in this game over the Philadelphia Phillies as they come from behind. Your player of the game honors go to Jonathan India. He had a 2-run home run on the day, as well as Aquino did. Taylor Walls had a solo shot to give them a 4-3 lead. And then you had Hunter Green, who pitched a solid 6 innings for the Reds, only gave up 3 earned runs, while Philip Deal, Tony Santillan, and Lucas Sims all combined for 3 scoreless innings in the back half of the bullpen for the Reds. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here at MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying, Turnpike Troubadours.